Okay. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy. I hope this is working. Okay, so, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay. Hello, everybody. What a crock it is to get this live show going. Like, it is a crock for this platform that must not be named. What a freaking joke. I'm sorry, I've spent hours today, and I'm just fed up with this crap. What a bunch of garbage. Wow. My name is Todd Standing, and I'm the man who takes people out into the field and has either live interact with our eyewitness Sasquatch. Hello, Sasquatch Wizard. I'm not calling you by your name because you're incognito. Congratulations to the Sasquatch Wizard, to Kyla, to Darren, to Andy. I've made you all moderators. Thank you so much for your support and help. How's my sound, Jonathan? I'm going to get texts from my phone. Hopefully the sound's really good. I worked really hard, guys, to make this all come together. I'm using all these crappy, retarded programs and not building it all, building a scene, picking my transitions. What a load of crap it is. Oh, my God. So sorry, but it's been hours I've been doing this. So I'm so happy my sound is good. Let's do some shows. Let's have some fun because I went through all this crap today because you guys are awesome. I love doing this show. It's absolutely amazing. And yeah, sounds great. There you go. Thank you. Got confirmation of that. Are we lagging here? What is going on? I think there's a huge lag. Anyways, there is a huge lag. What a crock. Some really amazing questions on Facebook today. Asking first, when is my new show? New show is all up in the air. We're still working on all that stuff. It's a big, it's a lot. So I'm working on that. Lots of new stuff's going to come out though, guys. I have in these little hard drives right here. I've got this is blue hard drive, purple hard drive, green hard drive, yellow hard drive. I've got these are like 2 gigs. These are all full of footage and stuff for TV shows. Sasquatch encounters, expeditions, discovering Bigfoot Part 2, tracking Sasquatch with Wild TV, sponsors, the human electromagnetic concealment suits, Hex, and Riverside RV are all on board. So many great things going on. I know that the world's a crazy place right now, but I promise that this year is going to be very entertaining. There's a lot of stuff, and I'm going to be working really hard on it. Phil Moyer is asking me on Facebook if I avoid spider webs or leaving footprints. I wouldn't even try to do that stuff. I'm out there. What I do on expedition and 99% of the time with Sasquatch is I let them know that they're there and I let them interact with me. So they write the show. That's just the way it is. Now, Harry had a really good question. Apparently 2 weeks ago, Todd asked a question about the thought if alpha males ever allow beta males to mate with group females. So, I didn't see the question, which leads to the question, and also he says, do Sasquatch mate for enjoyment? So my theory is, no, the alpha male dominates over it. And I'm about 80% convinced that that's the way it is. But if that's not the case, the other 20% of me does not say that there's an alpha male allowing betas to mate. The other 20% of me is saying there may be monogamous pairs. So I say that because it's just what I see in the biology. I don't really have a lot of, I just see a big dominant male dominating the group, taking care of his females. Females are off at the back. Breeding females, man, I don't see them. So I don't think I've ever seen a breeding female. And what that means is all of his mates are in an area with the young, taking care of them. The only females I believe I see are the daughters of the dominant male that are younger girls. Except one time. One time I saw a breeding female once, and I suspect there was a good reason for that. I suspect the dominant male wasn't around and a breeding female came down, and there were probably other breeding females that were watching and protecting and looking over the young, and she came to see me and trusted me. There's so much. This is such a rich discovery. There's so many layers to it. In fact, I'm gonna reassess. I'm gonna say I'm 70% thinking that it's big males that dominate and don't allow, just like gorillas or lions, that kind of dominant male with his breeding females, and then his son's running around. 70% convinced of that. 20% possibility of the likelihood of them having monogamous groups, just because I'm always trying to see whether they're more like the gorillas or more like the native people. And the native people lived in monogamous groups. And I've had people question, I have to leave that open just because the Sasquatch are so advanced and so intelligent and so amazing. And then 10% I'm going to leave for just, I don't know. So let's leave, for miscellaneous possibilities. Maybe he is a male. The big male does allow other males, but why would actually, I can't see that happening either, because I only see his sons and I see Jake grow up and Jake's gone. Right. So Jake's not going to breed. Jake would be a beta. He's not going to be the alpha, but he's the son. Right. And he's not going to breed with his mom and his aunt. Right. And that's going to stop the inbreeding. So another reason why I don't think that is going to happen. So, and I couldn't imagine Kubota. I don't know what Kubota's relationship is. If he's a brother or just, I don't know. And that's what's be so great about getting DNA. And I have a big plan to get DNA and work the DNA angle this year. So, so another question Phil asked, it was really good. Do natives have strategy to make encounters happen? In my experience, all the natives just have equilibrium with Sasquatch. So there is no trying to make an encounter happen. They don't do it. They just are students of the Sasquatch the same way I am. And they try to stay away, and they just want to live in peace with the Sasquatch and learn from them. It's basically the same thing I do. So they don't really want encounters. Some native cultures actually consider it bad luck to look at a Sasquatch. When you were confronted by Sasquatch and defended yourself with flares and noise, have you added anything to your gear in case that occurs again? No, I won't even use flares. That was a different Todd Standing. That was a long time ago, like nearly, a decade ago, more. So when a Sasquatch comes around now, no matter what, you should see, man, you guys be so, I'm so proud of the evolution of Todd Standing. I don't get scared like that around them anymore. I'm excited. When you've spent over a decade and thousands of days in the backcountry trying to get the Sasquatch to interact with you, when it happens, it's a gift. And I'm not even afraid anymore. I'm just so damn it. I mean, there's a little bit of fear, maybe 10% fear, and just 90% absolute joy and excitement. Like, I'm thrilled. I would take off all my clothes and walk backwards towards the Sasquatch. I did walk backwards in New York. I'll do whatever it takes. Because I'm also aware if they're gonna hurt me, they're gonna hurt me. There's nothing I can do about it. The best thing I can do is just show them that I'm peaceful, show them that I'm not aggressive. By eating is huge. I should have been when I was backing up to the Sasquatch, I should have been eating something, because all species recognize eating as a very non-aggressive, non-assertive, non-angry behavior, even a sign of contentment. So that's what I'll do next time. Is I'll just pick up a plant, start eating it, and back up towards them. Anything I can do to be peaceful and move this discovery forward. And that's the most profound thing you can do to a Sasquatch, is not be adversarial, not be aggressive with them. That's what they expect. When they get all crazy and smash things and you show, hey, I'm just calm. Enjoy the show. I'd be happy. If I saw a Sasquatch tear a tree out of the ground, that would just be like, woohoo, right? I would be so happy. So I really would. Like, if the Sasquatch literally tore a tree out of the ground, picked it up and threw it, I'd just duck and I'd be like, woohoo, well done. I really would. It just comes with experience and time. The people that I was with, it was Sadie and a new wonderful colleague of mine from the Adirondacks. I guess I should, but anyways, just the kid that took me out there. It's Kyle. Hey, Kyle, if he's out there, it's Kyle, and they did so good. But I could see that it was a scary experience for them. And they don't have the experience enough to know maybe that was a bear. So I knew it wasn't a bear in New York, and that's why I backed up towards. I knew it was a Sasquatch. I was 100% convinced of it. There was nothing bear about it. There was no way that was a human being. So I just backed up towards what we discovered later was a female Sasquatch. And, I was so excited to do that. I came all the way. I flew all the way from Canada. I went through all the interviews, deciding who I'm going to do stuff with. It was Kyle. Kyle had a lot to do with, getting involved in my life. So did Sadie. And it was amazing. So you really, all the amount of work that you get through to get to that point, and even after encounters in the past, you got to understand the encounters of the past. I make mistakes, and I got to not do that again, because I need to really move forward, because it's so rare that they interact with you, right? So anyways, and then there was another question on Instagram. A lady just asking me about smaller structures. I think she was in Nova Scotia or on the island, and a smaller structure. So we're talking about structures a little bit. I'll answer a few questions about those because I put a structure photograph up on Instagram and also in it's up on Facebook. So if you follow me on Facebook or if you're a friend of mine on Facebook, you can see that. So anyways, smaller structures are less likely to be Sasquatch structures, in my opinion. So, and then a really good question was that I loved was, how do you know it's a Sasquatch structure? And I just looked for something extremely unnatural to have happened. Twisting of branches together. In one example, the structure that's in Discovering Bigfoot was also featured on Survivor Man. That structure had an upside down tree there. Like a tree that was flipped right upside down. And then the way they were broken at the bottom is not possible. And then they had one that was jammed into the structure. And then we found out it was built counterclockwise. The first tree was precisely north that was put in. The last tree was the southernmost, or no, it went north to north. But anyways, I don't know. It looks really unnatural and it looks like something beyond what a man can do. That's why I just talked about a minute ago. Smaller structures are less likely to be Sasquatch. I look for power. I look for strength. I look for things that are not possible. The Thompson structure, as I call it, the most significant Sasquatch structure I've seen that is in my documentary a little bit. The Sasquatch built this structure. The apex is like 12 feet in the air. So he had to be like huge to take big, heavy 200-300 pound logs and jamming them in there. And what he did is he broke off one log. So imagine, this is just so cool. I'm going to really demonstrate it here. So he took one log and he broke it. And then he took it and he put it back in an opposite angle so it looked like this. And now what we can see is when we look at it, it was quite clear that these pieces fit together. Does that make sense? So when you there's no way a piece can break off the end of the log and then get shoved back into a structure like that. That is impossible. A tornado, a hurricane's not going to do that. And it was even shoved on top. The broken end is shoved on top. Like, come on. And it's at 90 degrees and it's shoved in. And then you could see that the log was also like, imagine it was burned on the top and not on the bottom. So it matched all up. And then the trailers were just perfect. Like you could just see there was a little end sticking out and it would match perfectly in the other one. And Andy Thompson recognized that. After Survivor Man, John Benenagle, Jeff Meldrum, and other PhDs and incredible, amazing people looked at it. Little Andy Thompson from Alabama went on up there and said, that's one of the, he barely talks at all. He says, hey, y'all, that end's broken and been shoved back in at 90 degrees. And that was it. That was the most, it's impossible for that to have happened. And you're talking about the bottom log was 350 pounds. The end that was broken off was 200 pounds. And it's over 12 feet in the air. Like, I reach 8 foot, 9 feet tall is the top of my hand. I'm 6'3", and my reach is about not even 9 feet in the air. What is going to put something at an apex of 12 with 300 pounds? It's just, you need a crane or something. It's not going to happen. Nobody's going to do that. So there's also, it's heavily treed area. And these are about 5 layers of trees back. You couldn't get a crane in there to do it. So it's really, you look for those things, it's impossible to have happened, and it's just impossible. I mean, it's virtually impossible. Why the hell would somebody go do that? And there's Bigfoot tracks, Bigfoot sightings, upside down trees, multiple structures all over the place. Bigfoot tree breaks is Bigfoot. Survivor Man's there, going to have no excuse and no explanation for the creatures that were coming around, booming and making boom, 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 bipedal sounds. It's Sasquatch, it's Sasquatch, it's Sasquatch. If it looks like a Sasquatch, it smells like a Sasquatch, leaves marks like a tracks like a Sasquatch, sounds like a Sasquatch, it's a Sasquatch. So have a nice day. Whoa, lots of questions here. So, and remember too, Kyla, Andy, Darren, a bunch of other people. Jonathan, you're all mediators. So you can remove comments, delete things. And Darren, Darren, who's on here at a sighting, right? I probably talked about that a couple times. I think he deserves to be a mediator. He knows everything. Darren has become a close friend of mine, and he knows everything about me. So, well, almost everything. He doesn't know how good I look naked, but we're not going to go there because Darren and I are just friends. That was a joke. And I thought it was funny too, and I don't regret it. Okay, so Rob, I know what the big deal is. I've never been scared of these creatures. Just stared, and they seem to just stare back. Wow. In moments, the fight, flight, emotion dissolves. Awesome, Rob. Robbo. Wow, that's so cool. Good for you, dude. That's awesome. Yeah, I was afraid. I just got less afraid. Well, when they become aggressive, when they start smashing things, when they, I don't know, it's just an evolution that, of working and being around them. You just evolve, right? So, hey, Todd, have you ever seen them be affectionate towards each other? Oh, man. Pondering space ape. Affection towards each other. I see them move in groups. I've seen their trackways move together. I've seen their devotion to one another in the way they encircle me. And, yeah, I mean, they'll triangulate around me. They move in a cooperation. But affection? I don't think I've ever seen anything. Like, what's affection? I know what you mean. Like I've seen it with bears. They're playful and gentle, and mountain lions licking each other, gorillas and chimpanzees grooming each other. Never seen anything like that. I feel, and I can see in their devotion to one another that they're, and I would just assume that they're like that. Hello, Roxanne. There's been no definitive evidence of affection, which would be enormous, right? That would be absolutely huge, and I can't say I ever saw that. Darn, man, there's just nothing, and I got to go back a step, and so there's no evidence of that at all, other than they just they stick together, they move as a wonderful cooperation. Just never seen any sign of affection. Never seen a Sasquatch touching another Sasquatch. I don't think. Even the young guy that I saw, I just, based on nature, I was afraid of the young guy because I know it's like seeing a young bear, and the little Sasquatch that I saw, he wasn't afraid of me at all, and that's not good because he was, very curious about me. I don't want him to come around me because the parents could get angry and defend against me, right? So, yeah. Oh, and so the sound, everything's good. If it's good today, guys, I'm always going to have it good. That's really, really awesome. So, see if I can get some more questions. Todd, is it possible that TP structures are Sasquatch buried? No. And someone should try digging beneath them? No. Absolutely not. No, there's no way that they're like that. It's extremely unlikely, I'd say, Andy. I shouldn't say there's no way. I got to keep an open mind. But I would never even think to do that, ever. There's no reason to think that. The structures are all quite often by the roads. So, no, I wouldn't think that. Well, when are you going back to get more photos? So I have more footage. It's going to be in the documentaries and TV shows that come out, but nothing better than I've done before. So I'd say my previous work were like video 3 is amazing because he's moving so fast. I'd give that a 9 based on just the fact that it's a giant 9-foot Sasquatch running up the side of a mountain bipedally. The Jake footage, video 5, and Jane footage, video 4. That stuff is, to me, that's like 8s. The Kubota footage, video 8, I give that like an 8. I'm very, very proud of that footage. And the stuff I have now is probably more like 5s and 6s, maybe even a 4. But yeah. So hope that answers your question. Do you have any new videos? Yes, I will. I just talked about that. Carlos, if Sasquatch isn't an ape, then what is it? It's a hominid, Carlos. They are hominids. They successfully breed with human beings. They're a more advanced hominid than we are. So I would not. Are we classified? We're in the ape. We're in the great ape category. Don't forget that, guys. This is such a funny argument because people get so upset about it. You must understand the foundation of Todd Standing and where Todd Standing starts is the Sasquatch are my teachers, and I just adore them. They're my heroes. I have profound affection for them. The same way Jane Goodall loves her chimpanzees, the same way Diane Fossey cried when Digit died. I have that much affection for these beings. They're my teachers. They're the most magnificent creatures ever. I can't say enough amazing things about them. So there's nothing but absolute admiration, adoration, and respect from me to this species. So if I refer to them in grade 8 as in the grade ape category, our own species is in there, but I don't mean if I ever referred to them as animals in the past, we're an animal. So, but I have always had nothing but admiration. And as time has gone on, I've seen the how spiritually advanced they are, how intelligent they are, how the emotions that I can feel from them, the positivity, the strength. It is so absolutely astonishing. I'm just in such admiration of this species. I try not to be. I try to be. I try to be a little, scientific and try to space myself, but it's not working at all. I'm not going to be any more scientific than Diane Fossey was. I just adore this species, and they're going to make an enormous change in this world. Make no mistake about it, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages. This species, the discovery of this species is going to shake the pillars of everything we've ever known. It's going to be a discovery that just forever rocks our civilization in such a positive way, and that's why I'm so passionate about it. So, to the heart and soul of me, it's going to make changes. I'm very concerned about the human species right now, and everything that the Sasquatch does and do are just absolutely astonishing. And I'm so excited to be a part of facilitating this discovery. And I've realized recently, after talking with new colleagues, new PhDs, new philosophers, new people in my life, that no matter what happens, in that if somebody else makes the discovery, which would make me incredibly happy, I would be very proud of that. I will still continue to be a part of facilitating this discovery. I'll always have my own perspectives, and however the discovery happens, if it's through me or through somebody else, I will always be there as a major facilitator. And if the person the group, the person that makes the discovery that's not attached to me and affiliated with me, I would hope to earn their respect and support them, as long as they're not about killing and not speaking the species as derogatory. I would expect, even if somebody innocently comes along a body and precipitates the discovery, I'll just be immensely involved. And so will my colleagues, and so will so many people that I've worked with will be involved. And it really matters. It's a really big deal. And Darren says lots of cool stuff on here. Darren has perspectives that maybe I don't even agree with, but I always respect. But for the most part, we see eye to eye for the most part. And yeah. Fabio says you are reading too much into it all, Todd. And I've been accused of that many times. And I can't help it. I agree. I do think but what you don't know, Fabian, is there's so much I haven't talked about. There's so much I can't tell you. There's so much that Survivor Man can't tell you and can't talk about, because what you feel out there and what experiences you've had, it's not within the ability to verbally assert it. People don't understand why when I leave the research site for the year, I get teary-eyed. After all we've been through and after all the Sasquatch have done, I might not have even seen them more than a couple times that year. And yet when I leave, I feel like I'm leaving, for the season. I feel sad. I literally get teary-eyed because I'm very passionate about this. When Jake is gone, I feel teary-eyed to know that I may never see him again, because I had such an incredible relationship with him. So I am very passionately connected to this. And if you want to accuse me of that, that's fine. But there's a lot to it. And people that have been out with me, boots on the ground, I'd say 80% of them come back and they really understand. And that's only after 7 days with me, right? So if you're out there with me for months, you'd really start to understand how it's hard not to get passionately attached. And I don't want to distance myself. I don't want to be like a doctor and a patient. I don't want to have that kind of professional relationship. This is very personal to me. Very, very personal. I take time away from my children and my family. I risked my life for this discovery. Nobody who knows debates that. It's very scary, the things that I have to do at times. There's always the chance that a man-eating bear is going to come crossing my way, a bear that I've never had any affiliation with at all, a bear who's a man killer, and he's going to verse me, and one of us is going to not survive. I could bump into a man-eating mountain lion who's been bumped out of his territory and come down to me, and one of us will not survive that. So there's dangers to what I do. Even beyond that, getting caught in weather, avalanches. I've seen mountains fall down, So there's a lot of things that can go wrong the more you spend time out there. And, there is a level of danger to it. That's for sure. Kevin Jackson says, sometimes they understand basic local languages wherever you are. Wow. They will never trust humans as a whole. Wow. Portals do exist. They are dangerous and not to be used irresponsibly. That's a lot of stuff. That's a lot of stuff. And thank you for your perspectives, Kevin. Kevin is much further out there on the spectrum than I am. And we can disagree, Kevin, but I respect your opinion. And you might be right. You might be right. So I've been finding these markers in many places. That's good. Judy Wheeler, thank you. You're welcome. If that was for me. Hey, Todd Green's from Sweden. Woohoo! I love world. Man, I was just on doing a test today and I had Italy, France pop up. We got Sweden. I love Sweden. I've been to Sweden. I was in I went to Stockholm and then I got to do some tracking and stuff. It was so cool. It was so cool. I loved being out there. It was just a wonderful experience for me. I learned so much about humanity by going to Europe, and what an important trip that was in my life. And the Swedish people are amazing. I really enjoyed myself out there. Simon says, I've been finding these markers. Oh, we did that already. Daniel says Sasquatch is more human than apes. Humans are not apes. Okay, I don't really like that. I don't like that discussion at all. Just categorizing and stuff, and I don't really want to do that. I've spoken today about the way I feel about this species, and So Fabio says they are animals. We are spirits in a human body. Big differences. Thank you for your perspective, Fabio. Juanita, Todd, you don't have to explain anything to anybody. Thank you, but I like to. Juanita, I like to explain. That's what this is all about, is about a sharing of information, right? A lot of people on here are sharing information, and that's amazing. That's so great. Big Al presents, one of my greatest wishes is to lock eyes with the Sasquatch from my own experience. Whoa, Big Al! Woo-hoo-hoo. Man, I don't lock eyes with the Sasquatch. Yeah, I don't do that. Just the thought of it scares me. Like, I could manage to look up and see their eyes. I would look down, I'd look at their feet. I'd start foraging. Man, yeah, that's not something I would do, because going eye to eye with any animal, like bears don't do that with me. I'll have bears circle me getting all pissed off. I don't go eye to eye with them. So actually I would, though. I just wouldn't do it with a Sasquatch. So really look into your, like staring eye to eye with a dog. Species that way is very adversarial. So I'd like to play with a Sasquatch in that, like roll around in the dirt and, have him like gently throw branches at me or something, and just kind of, I wouldn't want to wrestle with him. Like you're flying off a tree. Whoops! Did I kill him? But it's just, for me, I see a lot of play in what they do and fun in what they do, and I'd like to play and have fun. Because it's the younger ones that are coming around me. 15, 16 are the bigger ones. There's some, 12, 13-year-olds. They seem very playful. So, yeah, that's just how I feel about that. Executioner Wasp, you should go collaborate with Mountain Beast Mysteries. Nope, that's not going to happen. I know Mountain Beast Mysteries. What do you think about Dr. Matthew Johnson? Don't really know who that is. I don't remember. I don't like giving perspectives. I wish people the best. I hope they do well. I hope they enjoy their work, and I wish them the best. Hey, Todd, when did you realize they had ESP? I suspected it a long time ago. I suspected it when I was doing research in Montana, probably about 2012. I suspected it for a long time. It wasn't, as I saw science gravitate towards the acceptance of extrasensory perception, I did. And I can't say exactly when the moment was. I was having dreams that other people were having, so is that that's extrasensory perception. And then sometimes when they're around me, I can feel their presence. Sometimes I can't. It's very complicated, man. It's hard, but it's been a long time. Like, I've really, really accepted it a long, long time ago. And I live and breathe it. I know they do now. So it just, to me, that's just how it is. It's an accepted reality, 100%. Brian and Chewy go hiking. My encounter was terrifying, and the sound being made after it ran its hands along my tent. Whoa. Nothing that I know could have made that sound. Shook my sides, scared myself. Yeah, and that sound is the boom, 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 right? Probably. I mean, you can literally... when it's super close, like as it booms by, I can feel it in the ground, but there's something else where I can feel it in my skin. I can feel the bass booming, not on the ground, but just like the bass wave. Survivor Man understood it when he talks about it. You can actually feel it almost more than you can hear it, as crazy as that sounds, because it's a really low boom, 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 boom. So, and then when you hear it, there's just nothing that makes that sound. And that's what Sasquatch call themselves. They call themselves the Boom. That's how they want to be known, as the Boom. They don't want to be known as how big their feet are. They don't want to be known for a bodily appendage. They want to be called the Boom. The Boom is awesome. The Boom is powerful. So, and I agree. I think that's when I try to think of them, I try to think of them as Boom. So, are you going to go with the woman? We talked about that. The Kubota lady from Ireland is not coming out this year just because of COVID. Not even, for sure, not this year. So I have a whole bunch of things I want Europeans to come out and do with me. So I'm not, I started booking that in August, but yeah, it sucks. Do they use scouts? They have day watchers, but scouting is like going out, and so wouldn't have enough information to answer that question. I apologize. Sharon Whitmore, why is this turning into a biblical chat? I don't think it is. I'm not doing biblical. If it's in the chat room, I'm not getting into that. Eye to eye is when you want to be challenging. Yes, so that I agree. Eye to eye is a challenge. I don't ever want to challenge a Sasquatch. I do everything I can to be non-adversarial. Just keep eye contact with a cougar. Stefan, he's correct. So, yeah, and just instinctively, yeah, I know to do that, because you got to show them you're a predator, right? That's totally right. Every species is going to be different, right? So, I don't keep eye contact with the bear unless he charged at me with his. If a bear charges at me, I'm going to keep eye contact with him until he bluffs off. And when a bear is charging, his ears are up and he's bounding, I know it's a bluff charge. I'm going to step towards him and make eye contact. So, and if a bear charges at me with his ears back and he's pulling the ground, I'm going to kill him. I'm going to pull my gun and I'm going to put bullets in him. So, and if he's just kind of thinking about me, then I'm going to go have a talk with him and scare him off. So it's not easy. It's complicated. It's different with each species, but I would never stare a Sasquatch in the eye. You shouldn't look eye to eye with a gorilla, so I'm guessing you shouldn't do it with Bigfoot either. Yeah. So, agreed. Could you take the lady that can talk with, oh man, the animal speaking lady? Man, that is so on my to-do list. In fact, I'm even thinking about taking somebody else out. It's just complicated with, money and financing and paying for all that stuff. So even though my budget is tight for now, and that can change at any moment, my God, it's something that would be right up there on my list, right? So just need to keep the discovery moving forward, guys. Gosh, I hate it. I push the little button here and it misses a whole bunch of questions. It bounces down way too far. The boom. COVID fear hype. We're talking about that. That's okay. How do they want to be called the boom? I've seen multiple examples of this, but it's such a good question. So multiple examples of this, because every time I would hear back in the old, when I was first doing this research, I'd hear boom, boom, boom. And that was them saying, they called me, because the only thing I did in the wilderness was I'd cough a little bit in the morning as I woke up. And probably I cough a little bit now here and then. But anyways, they noticed that I coughed, so they called me, which was really not cool. And I always heard the boom, boom, boom. And I knew that they were calling themselves the boom because I'd see them, like somebody, a native man would come out and he had his spiritual animal was a golden eagle. And we heard the golden, I left him alone in a spot and we heard a golden eagle sound and then boom. So they were saying golden eagle, meet boom. Another example, probably the most profound example that really I was 90% sure they called themselves the boom. And then a Muslim man came out, a Muslim man from a white guy with a white beard, just a white guy, but he practiced the Muslim religion. He was from Ohio or something. Anyways, he came out and he was doing these beautiful little, his mentor and teacher, religious teacher, told him to do these little, make a little holy place. So he did that. And every morning, when I first had the electric bikes, when they were brand new in the boxes were still there. He had this huge box. It was probably, I don't know, like 6 feet long. He had this big piece of cardboard, and he would use it to fan the fire. And I'd hear him in the morning. He would get up just before me, and he'd go fan the fire, and you hear, you could hear it, this box, because it's so quiet out there. You could hear a breath. So one day, when he was doing that little beautiful thing and making his little religious chant, which I really respected, the Sasquatch came over and he went, boom. And we went over, saw the track. The Sasquatch was there. We saw him just, 5 layers of trees back. It was a really profound encounter. And what the Sasquatch was saying was, he called that man, and he said, boom, I'm the boom. He left the track on the ground, the big boom spot. So, and it just, there's lots of other things that are much more deeper, but I think that's pretty profound evidence. There's more than that, but those are the things that are more like the science and the tangibles. There's more to that. So, good question. Thank you. I'm going to go back to Idaho, to the place I saw one in 1979. I feel called to do this. Any advice? Advice about going back. 1979, there'll be all new different Sasquatch out there. I couldn't even expect. Everything has changed. You're going to have to change. You can't. It's going to be so hard, so different. It's a different world from 1979. So you understand you're starting from ground zero, like absolute ground zero. Human beings get into a place. Is the spot you were at 1979, is it even anywhere near the same? Is it developed now? All the individuals, the Sasquatch that were there before, that were dominating, all gone. So, but that doesn't mean you don't have the potential to generate some sort of success again. By all means, do it, but do it with an open heart. Watch the episodes of Discovering Bigfoot and the 4 episodes of Survivor Man Bigfoot starring me and Les Stroud. Tremendous amount of information there. And just go out with an open heart. Be good and honest. Try to think about what you did that was good and honest, that allowed you to generate that success, and then try to duplicate that. So, and good luck to you. Really, really good luck. I'm being drawn means a lot, though. You say, I'm going to go back to Idaho, into the place I saw once. I feel called to do this. That says a lot to me. So if you're having feelings, that's something spiritual. Meditate, pray, whatever it is that you do, use that inspiration. It will guide you. So more advice. So hello from Central PA. I have longer nosed Bigfoot in my woods. Really? Longer nosed Bigfoot? Huh. That's awesome. I'd love to hear about it. It's bigfootencounter@gmail.com. You really would. The guys, if I've seen all these people that are having this success. I'd really love to hear about it. I have Amanda and Phil, and I'd like to get more people involved on that, just going through these things. So go hiking. Sorry, Todd, I didn't explain enough what my tent encounter was. It ran its hand along his tent and let out a guttural growl, grunt that vibrated my sides. Isn't that crazy? Yeah. So you couldn't move, probably not they could hit you with infrasound right through a tent. And that guttural growl that just like emanates, and I can feel it. Yeah. Been there, done that. Hello, Todd from Atlanta, Georgia. Woohoo, Georgia. Love Georgia. So about 100% effective, Fabio, low cost, ivermectin, yet are injecting people. Oh my God. Talking about COVID. This is not a COVID discussion. Had a long personal conversation with Dr. Jeff Meldrum. He positively believes Bigfoot's real. Of course. Well, I mean, Jeff Meldrum will say he's 99% because he's so gosh darn responsible and amazing. But yeah, I mean, the evidence, and Jeff would never say that because he's such a good guy. The evidence has convinced him. I don't know if he'd say beyond a reasonable doubt, but and that's powerful, ladies and gentlemen and boys and girls. That's powerful. Jeff Meldrum is a very intelligent, amazing man, and we are so grateful. We should be so grateful to have him working towards the facilitating of this discovery, because he is. I just can't. I'm astonished at how much he's done and all that he does every year to help this discovery move forward. It's amazing. So new footage is just when I can. I don't know if hopefully sometime this year. Kevin Jackson, they live more like Amish as far as towns and communities stuff. I don't know much about the Amish. There is the hats, the shirts. There's a bunch of different shirts and hats and stuff. It's all on the website, discoveringbigfoot.com. There's a link. Thank you, Andy, for that. Let's see what else we got here. Whoa, just jumped over a whole bunch of questions. Nicole Martinez, what do you think their life expectancy is? Just 40 years. Dentition. So I have photos, etc. So this is Brittany Habinyak. Well, please, bigfootencounter@gmail.com. Please, we'd love to see them, hear about them. We were just doing that today, looking at photos and stuff. So hope they don't eat me. Yeah, I hope they don't eat you too. I have a family of Sasquatch that live near me, and they do migrate. I see them They do not migrate. I see them year round. Oh my God, Dale. Bigfoot Encounter, gmail.com. Look at all these people. I take this stuff so seriously. I really do. Like, this is a big deal. Dave, Brittany, the gentleman earlier on this. I take this stuff is very serious to us guys. I have very serious people that look into these things. Like, please send us some information. That's amazing. So really, really, and congratulations. And Dale, that's really important information, my friend. Like, really, really important, prudent information. So hello from Virginia. Hi, Virginia. Hello from British Columbia, Canada. How much square kilometers of forest would you? I wouldn't even. Littlefoot 377. It's all about the biology. It's all about the amount of food and whatnot. So even the tapes from the Sierra sound of the voices is super duper extra vibrating, both above and below our hearing, I think. And LLC, yeah, more research should be put into that. That's amazing. So fantastic. Cool that you're seeing that. So, and I'd be in agreement with you. So some messages. Do you think they bury their dead? I think at the very least, they put their dead. There's evidence to support they put their dead in a particular spot. Sasquatches and mineral licks. Don't know much about that. I know mineral licks are really important. Judy, vibes on their plane of knowledge. There is a certain frequency that we are not on. Does this seem right? Yes. Let me put it this way. I'm not talking about frequencies, just that I believe it's clear to me that a Sasquatch or the Sasquatch people are born and evolved a higher ability for extrasensory perception. So that's a different frequency. And when they're communicating with someone like me through extrasensory perception, my brain isn't evolved that much. It's harder for me to match that frequency. I'm kind of off. I'm hearing a crackly signal, whereas it would come, much clearer to them. Now, with that being said, the more I work out, the bigger my muscles get. The more time I spend around the Sasquatch, the more they stimulate that part of my brain, the stronger and more adept I'll get it, the clearer that signal can come through. So these are my theories, and this is what I've been working with. And even I'm a huge dog lover. I adore my dog. She's like my best friend, and or like one of my best friends. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. And I try to communicate with her. And there are things that I've done communication-wise with her, and I'm working with an animal communicator to help me speak with her better, because those things are real. That's absolutely real. There's things that I've done with my dog that just as an example, my Roddy, she's a Rottweiler, she's black. And I'm sitting outside in the sun, and I'm actually purposely in the sun to get some sun's rays. And so I have like 3 friends sitting around with me, and so my dog is there, and she's panting. Like it's too hot. She doesn't need to be in the sun. So I say, don't sit here in the sun. Go walk over to the shade over by the garage. She literally walks 40 yards and sits in the shade by the garage. And my friends are, how did you teach her to do that? And there have been dozens of things I do like that with my dog, where I'll just say, hey, go do that. And she'll go do that. And she goes and sits right in she's never sat in the shade before. This was the first time I'd ever been at that house. The shade was only for that time because the sun was at a particular spot, and she was looking at me when I said, there's shade over there, go sit in it. And then she looks up and goes and she went and sat in the shade. So that's communication, and species can do that. So I work with that. I work on that. That stuff really matters to me. And I'd like to say, Stu, I'm seeing a lot of deleted messages here. Make sure, guys, that I don't mind a little bit of controversy. And so I see the Adirondacks. There's lots of people that are deleting a lot of messages. Let's take it easy, because I don't mind the tough questions, right? So I don't mind a little controversy, guys. So don't be too hard. Don't be too protective of me. Don't shield me too much. I know there's some, I guess if there's swearing, please do take that. And if it's hatred, please take that. But if, just as an example, to all my new mediators, if somebody says I'm a fraud, I want to hear what their perspective is. So, like Frank Thomas, Survivor Man, said Todd is a fraud. That's crap, Frank. That's garbage. I talked to Les last week, so no, that's not true. He's never said I'm a fraud. That's a lie. And see, I don't mind talking about that stuff, because you get people that say stuff like that. Frank Thomas, you're a liar, and that's not true. So he's never said anything like that. Survivor Man, my goodness. Survivor Man and I, we have things that we don't agree upon. But one thing, just even recently, where I was, there was something that had gone on that I was unhappy about. And then he made it very clear to me. He says, you have no idea how many times I've defended you, how many times I've stood up for you. And you know what? I didn't until he said that. And I said, really? Thank you. And I can see that behind the scenes, behind doors with other people. He stands up for me more than anything. And the only thing he's ever said that was even close to, he never would say I was a fraud, is on the Joe Rogan show. Joe Rogan asked him, how likely do you think those videos are real? And he said 50-50. I'll take those odds. That's great. I think that was enormously flattering to me. For Survivor Man, the man, Les Stroud, to say he believes, because he wasn't there, that footage is 50% likely real, is a huge... I'm so flattered by that. And I just so flattered by that. So, so that's just how I feel about that stuff. And so LLC says Indigenous people knew and know about communication with creation. Well, interesting. Thank you. Arkansas is charged. Thank you. You're wrong. Okay, we're talking. Yeah, don't worry about that. And Survivor Man did not say that. So there's a lot of people just, backing me up. He didn't say that. I'll work with Survivor Man tomorrow. So if the opportunity arises, and that, who knows what can happen. So how do you communicate with Bigfoot using a crystal? No idea, Kirk. I am not a crystal guy. I hear lots of stuff about crystals. I've worn them and used crystals and never found any different feelings or benefits to it. So I know nothing about that sort of stuff. Are structures used as markers for travel? I don't know. Or are they to let other Sasquatches in the area know that the area already has inhabitants? It's clear to me it means something, but I just don't know what. I'd be speculating. The structures that I've seen, the majority of them, I've seen structures built for me or built for people. So only one time in my whole life have I found a Sasquatch structure, two of them actually, that were on each side of the river, where I believe two male Sasquatch had a fight for power. Those were not built for people. Those were Sasquatch structures built for Sasquatch. Beyond that, I've never found a structure that wasn't extremely likely made for people. So, and so K-File says, if you want to call Todd a fraud, cool, show the evidence of him being one. The community is looking for answers and gets nowhere by fight. And I completely agree with that. That's why I do want to hear, because I did that for years. Even Jeff Meldrum, when I was doing a radio show with Jeff Meldrum, after we'd filmed the sequences of the movie, he would always listen to people's perspective. Even Survivor Man does that. If someone calls me a fraud, Survivor Man says, what evidence do you have? And he listens, and then he'll ask me. Like as an example, one idiot, this guy's an idiot, moron, dumbass. He had worked with me, and I did know this person, and I had nothing good to say about him. He's an idiot, and not a nice person. There's nothing wrong with being an idiot, actually, of lower IQ. It's just, this guy is just not a nice person. Sociopath, real hurtful to other people. And Survivor Man said, okay, Survivor was going to have coffee with him. He says, first, I want to hear your evidence against Todd. And then he told Survivor Man that he saw me loading a Sasquatch costume into the trunk of my car. Survivorman's been to my house. This is my friend. Like he stayed at my house. He's met my whole family. He knows a lot about me. A lot. I don't hide things from him. I'm very transparent with him. And he says, "What kind of car was it?" And the guy says, "Oh, one of those hatchback cars." And then he goes, "What color is it?" And I don't remember if he got that. And then Survivorman calls me and says, "Todd, do you have a car?" And I went, "No." "So when was the last time you had a car?" I go, "I don't know, 10 years ago." So he says, he goes, "I've been to your house. You have this Durango truck. You have this pickup truck. You don't have any other vehicles. Are you sure? Your wife doesn't have one. Your father-in-law." I go, "Absolutely not. Not at all." So a glass hatchback that was that color, I had no vehicle like that. And then he told me that I'd been accused of stuffing a Bigfoot costume in a vehicle that I never had. So, and the fact that he'd never seen that vehicle, I don't know. I just don't have a vehicle like that. So it was really, and after that, literally a month later, Les had a protection order put against that crazy man. The guy's crazy. So, and I told Les, I said, "I take no responsibility for you dealing with this person because he's not mentally stable. He's a very, I don't like saying bad person, but this is a bad person. Like, he's just a very bad person out for his own interests, ready to harm other people just to get ahead. Not a nice person at all. Liar. Like, this person went on a TV show to try to get money. It was some Dragon's Den show where people invest in you, and he went on as some kind of he wanted to do a Sasquatch show. And anyways, he said that he was the man that showed Jeff Meldrum a Sasquatch. Nope, he was not. He's a liar. It was in my movie. And then I told Jeff about it, and Jeff went in and commented. Jeff was going to get involved, saying, "No, I've never met this individual. Ever, never spoke with this individual, know nothing about this individual." Jeff didn't say it was Todd Standing that did that, but I mean, it's pretty obvious in my documentary. You guys need to understand too, gosh, with Jeff Meldrum and John, like, there's nobody else there. Jeff and I, Survivorman and I, John Bitternagel and I are going off by ourselves. There's nobody else there. There's no camera crew. There's no people. I mean, on the rare occasions, I had my father-in-law, but not with Jeff Meldrum. On a couple of occasions with John Bitternagel, I had my father-in-law coming along and working a camera. And, but I'm just really transparent. It's just, it is what you see, guys. There's no sound guys. There's no directors. There's nothing. We don't contrive anything. There's no people running around the bush making things happen. It's just, this is real stuff. So, what do we got for time here? So 52 minutes. We'll just do 8 more minutes of questions. So, Tesla is a genuine scientist. I agree. I'm a sort of bit of a fan. And there's D. Bowers backing me up. Thank you, sir. I don't want to look at what Bigfoot Odyssey is doing. Okay, legendary Dr. Dummy. I don't know who he's talking about. Legendary Dr. Pack. Cap locks are being used. Okay. Do you think Bigfoot migrates? Do you think Bigfoot migrated out of Africa? I think they may have. Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So with the Bering Straits, the whole following human beings. Yeah, Africa is quite scientifically accepted as the, where life came from, where primates came from. And, yeah. And so Dale Pack says Sasquatch does not migrate, but I'll disagree with you, Dale. They'll follow the food sources, right? And if they don't do that where you are, they could possibly do that in other places because they do whatever it takes to survive. You need to follow the abundance. Like Sasquatch will move into areas where the salmon are spawning because there's tremendous abundance there, right? Follow the elk herds, go where the berries are. So, but is that migration? There might be another term for that. They will definitively 100% follow the food sources. I've seen that. I support that 100%. But migration for the winter, they'll move for the winter most likely. But there's a lot. There's a lot. Todd, but where's the proof to back your stories on Bigfoot's photos? What is it? Who's legend? So legendary Dr. Rackpole. Right below it, it says, watch my movie. Yeah, watch the movie. Watch Survivorman. My goodness. There's lots. So I guess I'll wait for the next documentary. Todd, have a good evening. Thanks, Sharon. Thanks for tuning in. I do not doubt Todd at all. I feel this is from Vernon, the Vernon 52. Feels he's an honest, sincere person, and that comes through very clearly. Thanks. And see, there are people that I'm going to have chemistry with. Just even supporters that I'm going to have chemistry with. Some people think I'm not. I don't mind. Whatever. Yeah. It says Todd, World Bigfoot Radio says Todd has produced evidence, and I do. I try to. Bigfoot Odyssey, I don't know anything about it. Dr. Raypak says, Psy Guy, I've seen the video. There is no proof. What the hell are you talking about? That's real footage. Where's your video? Video evidence puts people in jail. It's proof. So there's DNA that I've had. I take people out and show them Sasquatch. I mean, what the hell, man? What do you want? I don't have a body. So if you don't think my footage is proof, the tracks that I've been able to facilitate, the people that I've taken out, I mean, you're like Johnny come late. Whew, there's a lot. So go have a look. Go do some homework before you start. And how could you say the footage isn't proof? The video 3 is immense proof. And for me, I care very little about proving for me. For me, the big picture is I want to substantiate the existence of Sasquatch. So that's the proof. And to me, the Patterson video is proof. What Jeff Meldrum has proof is proof. I don't do tracks because Jeff Meldrum's got that stuff covered. If I have track stuff, I just give it to Jeff Meldrum. He is the best in the world for Bigfoot tracks. Nobody can touch him. His track evidence is absolutely track, cast evidence, hand evidence. If you've been to his lab, his evidence is outstanding, just absolutely phenomenal. So, he's got that covered. And, what Survivor Man has done, what John Bennernagel has done is part of my evidence. That's my work. And for all of you out there, Littlefoot and Bigfoot World Radio, all you people, my evidence, I don't know. I assume Jeff Meldrum would feel the same way. I know John Bennernagel would feel the same way. John Bennernagel's book is evidence. Use it to help facilitate this discovery because that's all that we want. That's what we want. The Survivor Man episodes are evidence to facilitate this discovery. Survivor Man will tell you that. Go use that as evidence because whatever happened, all those amazing things that happened out there, that's evidence. The tree breaks, the structures, the apples getting taken, the tracks, the sounds that we heard. The fact that I took a man that's called Survivor Man who is legit. That guy is the real deal. From the little tippy bits of his toes to the absolute top of his head, he is absolutely authentic. That is the real deal. His show is real. Love him or hate him. It's absolutely legit. So when he goes out there and that man tells you, and he's got 10 years of backing up. Before he met me, he had 10 years of Survivor Man, where he was admired and respected the world over. And then he comes on those expeditions with me and then has that tremendous success. Everything that happened was absolutely real. When he says, I have no explanation for what came around and left giant Bigfoot tracks and took apples that way. No species does that. It wasn't a man. It's Sasquatch. That's it's really, really profound, amazing stuff. So I'm so proud of the work that happened between him and I. Always will be. That's like a life's achievement. So, so grateful for him having to taken that and done that. So, Royal Creations. You don't know what pictures I'm talking about. Royal Creations. I would make Royal Creations a moderator. How do I do that? Where is Royal Creations? I wonder if I can make moderators right here live. Oh, I can. Cool. Just gonna touch down here. Where's Royal Creations? Royal Creations. Royal Creations. I dub the Royal Creations is now a moderator for your channel. Yeah. So Royal Creations, I've been hearing about him for quite some time. He's just been around doing lots of stuff. Has always been a good supporter. And again, I hear good questions. I see things. And thank you, Royal Creations, for your support and your help. There's been a lot. I can't remember. I talk to so many people every day. There's so much stuff. But I think Royal Creations, even on Instagram, just really good questions, really good things to say. Obviously an intelligent human being that's got he's I like the cup of his jib, John Bennernagel would say. So yeah, so we're almost done the show here. I'll do this. So Maka's Adventures, we just had a report on a blonde yowie in our alpine regions. Have you ever heard of blonde Sasquatch in the U.S.? Wow. No, I don't even know that. I haven't heard a story. I mean, I won't look at, I won't read a report and just say yes. So for me, there has to be some major authenticity involved, some sort of substantiating. I know a person who knows them and somebody went out there that I trust. There just has to be a little more. I kind of need like at least two things that are kind of leading me towards believing something. So I've never heard anything that was really, that showed substance that I thought, yeah, that sounds really authentic. So, yeah, so that's it. I think the oldest Sasquatch lose their hair on their faces. Jake Jane example. But Kubota doesn't have it. He's older. Cool. And we just had, so I'll just do one more question. I'll bump right down to the bottom here. And, okay, so here's a really tough question. Really, really tough one. I'm going to end the show with this. So aren't you worried about drawing attention to them, bringing harm to them? Sorry, everything's bouncing around here because new questions keep popping up. So Georgia Mathewson, aren't you worried about that drawing attention to them? You will cause them more harm than good. And absolutely, absolutely. So it's always a concern of mine. But let's look at the bottom line. I want to believe that truth eventually leads to the right thing. And the truth is they exist, right? And I fight for the truth. So that's the way I see it. I know there's going to be a lot of pain in this discovery. I know there's lots of potential to do damage to them. But is it better right now that we just pretend they don't exist, that we, dam the rivers and stop their salmon flows, that we're logging areas that can potentially do serious damage to them? So, yeah, there's, right now it's worse. And ultimately, as painful as the discovery might be in the beginning, it'll get better. And we need this discovery. The truth will set you free. The truth is they exist. Even understand right now, you can go hunt a Sasquatch and kill them. You can, right? Somebody can figure out, investigate me and find out where my research areas are. It's not hard. And go to these spots and go kill them. Right now, if you went and assassinated a whole group of Sasquatch, you could just go kill them, hang them, store them, done. There's no acknowledgement of the species. It'd be no different than, somebody went out and shot a bunch of unicorns. That's the way the government would look at it, right? So, just the acknowledgement and truth will set you free. So, but there is major concerns I have. Major concerns. And there were times when I really thought, maybe I should quit because I would do more harm to them than good. But ultimately, I grew up with Justice League. I believe in justice. I believe in the truth. I believe in honor and integrity to my heart and soul. And the right thing to do is to do everything I can to facilitate this discovery in a real positive way. And that's why I do this show. And all these people, so many people we've heard on here talk about Sasquatch and are doing Sasquatch research and have watched my channel and have watched my show. I really hope that one of the greatest compliments I ever had in my whole life after this beautiful Native woman that lives in northern Canada, who's very spiritual, watched Discovery and Bigfoot and watched the episode of Survivor Man Bigfoot. And she said the most flattering thing to me. She said, I love the way you respect them. I love the way you walk gently. And I love the way you just are in tune with the earth and are humble towards these beings. That's the most flattering thing anybody's ever said to me. And the fact that she picked that up was just, it moved my heart because I love nature. I believe Sasquatch are the stewards of nature and they protect nature. And I'm so strongly, there was a time where I was maybe 60% do the discovery, 40% don't do the discovery. At this point, I'm 90-10. Really, it's just, we need them. They need us. This discovery needs to move forward. The earth needs it. We're in dire straits right now on this planet, ladies and gentlemen. In my opinion, I'm scared. I'm scared about my children's future. And I know that this amazing discovery will make the world a better place. I know it. I feel it. I know it. I see it. And what I see and what I feel and how I'm connected to it in a deep, deep spiritual way, I can't express to you guys, but it'll all come out. It's all going to be there. I'll try to do that in my next documentary, to express and explain that in a clear way. But and I think a lot of you feel it. A lot of you guys are like, I like Todd and I like his perspective. That's because you're feeling my energy. You're feeling that drive. And the only thing that has built that in me is the Sasquatch. To make this discovery, to move forward with it, it's because of the passion that I have for this incredible species. When I first realized this species was real, it was like a punch in the face. How could this incredible, amazing primate species exist and we don't acknowledge it? And since that date, that was like back in 2005, every year, I just get more mesmerized by how incredible they are. I realize why we haven't made the discovery, because this species is that amazing. They're that incredible. It's that much of a big discovery, and it will change the world that much. You want to hear me disagree with something profoundly? When people say, it'll be like, like recently we acknowledged aliens exist, and it was no big deal. Nobody really cares. This will not be a discovery like that. This will shake the core of science, of anthropology, of spirituality, of everything we've ever known. This will shake it to the core. Once we go down this path and acknowledge their existence, it's just going to be so amazing. Such wonder and joy and greatness is going to come out of this. Thank you very much for tuning into my show today, ladies and gentlemen. I am very grateful for your support. I will be back next week, and y'all take care. And